Going live. We are live now.
We're live.
We like going live because it like helps us get the videos out to you faster.
Yeah, it's easier processing. Efficient. We're getting to you, you get to experience it, and then it's like downloaded right away. So boom, back at you. What's up, guys?
Hi. So, it's a little bit crazy right now because we're going to draw the sign that we pull from 3 of the ones that we put in here.
We got 3 left.
Shake it up, shake it up.
3 that have had to wait, and the 3 you guys already know who you are if you're one of the 3 because you've been waiting for your video.
You've been waiting for your video. So those of you who've been waiting for your video, you're about to get
a video. Who is it going to be?
Who's it going to be?
Then we're going to go back and put the name later.
We're
going to add it.
Surprise right now.
Right. We don't even know. I'm just going to, I get to be like Vanna. You know?
La la la. It's up. Look at him.
I'm just.
He's shaking it.
I just wanted to like feel it out.
Not stir.
I wanted to be sure.
Shake it, not stir.
Let's see. I have chosen.
He's chosen. Now look, it's like the little like.
Okay.
Yeah, chosen. Right. I mean, you're gonna see a real crazy drawing of like the graphic of the sign.
What is it? It's like really balled up.
It's a Post-it, so it's sticky. So be careful. We'll peel it off easy.
There's a lot of suspense here. I don't want to drop it in my coffee.
Oh, he's not.
I need to cut my fingernail. Sorry, that was lazy.
So much longer than I anticipated.
Oh wow! Look at that.
I told him it was gonna be Taurus.
He was like, "It's gonna be Taurus,"
and he did all of that after I shook it up. And now it's not all Taurus in here. There really is Aries and Leo. Y'all got to surprise draw for Virgo. We are the ones losing our mind these days.
Virgo, y'all stuff is out. Y'all stuff is out. You know,
you guys always get a really good reading. Your reading is at like, a high number right now.
And Mercury is in Gemini right now. So it's like plan and analyze for the processing during your time. But you got it. Back to Taurus, though. We're doing Taurus. He called it.
I called it, y'all. Taurus had the angel deck last time, so let's do something completely different. Let's go to a deck that we like using.
Caffeinated, watch out.
For the fixed signs. Wild Unknown.
Oh.
I dived in.
Taurus. Okay.
The cards are energized.
Okay, Taurus.
Virgo here too. Virgo Sun, but Taurus Moon. Yes. When are you done? When you're none of the signs, but excited to finally catch a live. Oh, Mary Jane. Hey, I love you. Yes, Mary Jane. Yeah. Congratulations, girl.
Yay. Yes, congratulations, Mary Jane. We're so glad that we're reaching you guys. First of all, let's just do a natural intro here, which we kind of skipped. I'm Dale.
I'm Kendrick.
And this is Providence Tarot. Okay, so some of you guys are like tuning in for the first time.
Yeah.
And usually when we do a sign, we'll go over like a few brief things astrologically that the sign is about. We have chosen Taurus.
Right.
Make sure you guys go back. We started the business and started doing the YouTubes. I want to say, was it April? When we did, yeah. It was in February when we really coined some personal readings. But then the YouTube account came up, I want to say, in March, maybe something like that. Right. And then we started doing the monthlies for April, so you guys can probably go back to April and May and check out your signs. Now, I always say, make sure you're checking out your rising, make sure you're checking out your sun, and make sure you're checking out your moon. Those are like the 3 most interpersonal. I mean, all of the planetary placements, especially if you have strong planetary placements or aspects and all of that, will determine different aspects of what's going to happen in your life and your personality. But those 3 are the main things. Now, your rising, which is like the first thing that comes into your perspective of life when you first come into the world, right? with the first thing that's formed in the first like 18 weeks of your life is basically your perspective. So your rising is your ascendant in the time of birth. You want to find out your time of birth, and like all of that stuff matters. Where you were born at, Eastern Standard, all that stuff, Central, Pacific, all that stuff matters. The longitudes, where the sun was placed out, what's going on during sunrise, right? Because the zodiac also goes in this kind of 24-hour span of time. So it kind of is moving, you know, within that 2-hour span. So in other words, usually if you, you know, if you want to have Taurus rising, the sun would have to be in Taurus and rising in between 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning, right? So you'd have to be born in between 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning when the sun was in Taurus during that time of the end of April to May. So that's kind of just like rambling a little bit, but I'm just giving you guys a little bit of information because I know you guys like to know that type of stuff. So you can, you know, find your rising sign out, and that's basically your initial self, like what people perceive of you initially when you're not doing anything, when you're just existing kind of in your own, when your personality is taking in things and projecting itself onto the world. Your scope, basically, your lens of life. And then you have your sun, which is your actions and your awareness to yourself and your awareness to the world and how people perceive you in the world, the way you walk down the street, you know, the way that you go about planning things in your life, you know, the way that you create and like this type of thing that's not necessarily tangible, but it's felt like heat and spirit, right? That's why the sun rules that. And then the moon would be your receptivity. So the moon revolves around the earth revolves around the sun, right? The sun is like your external energy. The moon is your internal yin energy. So it's how you're affected by things and how you see yourself emotionally, right? So that's kind of like those three things. Basically, you want to check those things. Even when you check your horoscopes and you're just doing that weekly horoscope thing or whatever, like, you know, those three things make a large, you know, part of your personality. Okay? All right. I hope that was helpful. Just a little something.
So, you guys have Uranus in your sign. Interesting, right? What does that mean?
Uranus.
What's going on with you guys in Uranus? Are you finding new ways to enjoy your life? Do you find yourself doing things that you normally wouldn't do or things that you hadn't done in like the first quarter of your life, like in your 20s? Now that you're a little bit more mature, your mind is a little bit more open to things. Yeah. And like, you know, letting people be in their weirdness, right? I guess. Not in a bad way.
Interesting. Okay.
So, we're doing a 12-house spread for you guys with a 13th card in the middle, and then there is a significator at the bottom of the deck. You've got the Emperor. It's about structure. It's also about pace. I feel like it's also about allowing yourself to see what you are working with in a way, right? It's like your surroundings or like the scene around you. Yes, what you've built. How you're taking a look at your career, your finances, just everything that you have created in your existence, in your life. It's a very paternal kind of energy. It's like the father, right, of the tarot, the Emperor. Yes, okay, acid face. It's really good here. It's like your passions have taken you to a place where you feel comfortable in exercising things. You know, your day-to-day, what you like to do, who you involve yourself with. It's kind of like the court of your life, if you will, because everyone is their own king or queen, right? Don't we feel that way? Let's take a look at your first house, or Dale, if he wants to elaborate on this card. Absolutely.
You know, Taurus is all about building. I build. That's like I have. I build. That's the motto of Taurus.
Strength within. It's
and
Taurus.
So the Emperor, you know, is all about construction. So what is it that, you know, this being the bottom of the deck, it's really saying like, what is it that you're looking to build? You know, is it something that has to do with your career? It probably could be as a Taurus, or is it something to do with a relationship? What is it that you're actually trying to construct right now, Taurus? So that's a big theme overall of what we're about to get into here, because the bottom of the deck is, this is a very wise, this is a tree. This tree has been there for a very long time.
Rooted.
There's a lot of sunrises and sunsets going on here, right? There's a lot of experience. Think about the families and the sagas, the stories that have gone on, you know, while this tree has lived and lived and lived, right? So this is definitely talking about like heritage, purpose,
right.
Family, construction. It could be talking about commitments, marriage, you know, definitely a bigger picture, not little details, bigger picture. Okay.
I would definitely go back to 11:11 when he was saying something and see what message that was exactly, because 11:11 passage was saying that. It's about using the energy of the sun, right? The sun, you can benefit from it a lot. You can also get hurt by it if you expose yourself to it too long. But this tree, like you said, many sunrises and many sunsets, you give yourself a break with all of that energy, right? That you're using to like push the weight of everything forward. It's like all of the brick and mortar that you're carrying with you in order to build this thing for yourself. We will talk more about the numbers and the repeating of numbers in another video, okay? Because it's something that one of our clients expressed to us the other day, and we always see them. But 11:11 is angelic guidance and divine guidance, saying that you're on your right path. It's like no matter where you are, even if you're crying in that moment and you look up and the clock is 11:10 and it says 11:11, just know that you're meant to be sitting on that bed at that moment crying about whatever it is that you're crying about, because it's going to get you to your next level, to your next phase. The first house for you, Taurus. 9 of Wands.
Okay, Moon in Sagittarius. So this being the first house, this is definitely talking about what you might be thinking about right now, where your mind is, basically where your focus is, and in general where your personality is giving. So this is a very mature, emotional, spirited energy. The energy could be talking about like you thinking about how long it's taking to do something, to accomplish a goal. Maybe it is something that you're starting to construct or wanting to construct. There's some type of dream, and it's like maybe something that you think about that you're not necessarily expressing fully. It could be, depending on what aspects you are, you could be extroverted with it or introverted with it, depending on what's going on with you. But this is like a long staircase. You know, there is a prize at the top, but it's almost like this is an accumulation of spirited things that have happened. You know, so some of you are just definitely, you know, you're almost where you want to be, but at the same time, you're feeling really tested. You know, there's like an accumulation of things that have happened. And so you're anticipating that maybe something else might happen. And it's kind of saying, what happened during the full moon as well in Sagittarius last week? You know, that was last week. Was that something that highlighted something about your career, or something about a long spirited relationship, you know, or friendship even, that is like really deeply spirited? Like you know, this isn't like a little fickle relationship. This is something that maybe you've had your eye on for a while. It could even be a Sagittarius in your life, which in that way would be even more about like the physical and the attraction in that sense too. It could have been just like really just a lot of emotions that lead to you really feeling 0 to 60 about something.
Right. I feel like with this card, the moon, the moon in Scorpio is in its fall. So by the time the moon starts to transit Sagittarius, it's almost like it's a little bit of a break for it, but not in a like resting way. It's like you're not fighting against the fall of Scorpio. You're now in Sagittarius, which is actually giving the moon a little bit more stability in its emotions, right? Because it's almost like when the moon is in Scorpio in the 12th house, which is, your first house. When the moon is in Scorpio, it's in its fall. So by the time it comes into Sagittarius, it's like it's ready for the transition. It's ready for the expansion. It's ready to move forward. It's ready to get out of Scorpio. Okay? So this is one of expansion, definitely. But it's also about going within. It's knowing when to defend yourself, right? Because you don't want to get to that place where you feel like everyone is opposing you.
Exactly. Yeah. And it could be like, yes, exactly. Like you're just feeling like you're very much an accumulation in your mind of being on the offense. That could be definitely happening right now. Why are you so offensive? Right? So bruised. That's something to look at. Let's see what's going on in your house, which is the second house, traditionally, which is ruled by Taurus. Okay, so it's the 9 of Pentacles, another 9. 9s are Virgo energy. So 9s could also be talking about like letting go. So there could be this need to let go. This is a very positive card in this house.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So you got Venus and Virgo in the second house, right? Which, possessions and things like that are very important to Taurus just because you guys work very physically with things. You communicate through the physical. Well, I have this, I have that. This is the routine. This is what we agreed on. This is what's going on, So in that way, it's saying, you really have been enjoying some time with self recently. Or you should be enjoying more time with yourself recently if you haven't been, right? Because Virgo is really a lot about like solitude, kind of hermit energy, where you're kind of going in maybe on your studies or in reflection, where the environment and the things around you, your pets, your house, all this stuff really kind of brings you to this place of peace and serenity. And you've been thinking about what I have versus what I don't have. And instead of thinking about it in a way of like greed, think about it in a way of appreciation and gratitude. And just like, from that aspect, can really begin a stage of healing here. Because there is like some type of accumulation. There's a chance for possible promotion for some of you. Some of you could be on the precipice of some type of promotion or accumulation of something, especially in the physical realm. Something that you might have had your mind on for quite some time. It could be a person, it could be this feeling of being single and then this idea of commitment, because the second house Taurus also, that could be like what you have, what you don't have, even in the idea of real estate. But there's something like, and with the 2 9s being there, it's like, I've been feeling this way. It's affecting my emotions for quite some time. And then there's this physical thing as well, right?
Mm-hmm. You got 2 9s back to back in the first and the second house. Number 9s, are ruled by the Hermit. That's self-examination, and self-exploration, actually, as well. You also, I also mentioned Uranus being in your sign. Uranus is represented by number 9. I've read that. So what is it that you're ushering in about your life? It's like bigger changes. It's like some of you might be doing like big like renovations and changing the way that your home looks, right? Some of you actually might be moving to a different place, right? Because it's like Sagittarius rules travel. And this is sort of like, you know, the emotions behind having to leave something familiar, even though you knew you had to.
Right. 9 is about letting go. 9 is about letting go a lot because that's Hermit energy. You know the traditional card of the Hermit energy where it's the lamp and then like there's the darkness behind. And it's not about looking back. It's about letting go to get to that 10 of the new beginning. And it's saying this twice for you here. So it's like, you know, in your mind, you kind of have probably been knowing this or it's coming up to that. Either you decided or your spouse decided it. And now, like, you know, now you're thinking about what you have in this sense because something may be changing in that sense. And you guys, like, don't like to be taken off guard with physical changes. You kind of fear change a lot of the times as Tauruses. So, you know, it's something to look at because it's coming. There's, like, some type of promotion or level up.
And it seems like
construction.
It seems like it's going to provide more stability for you, absolutely, because the Emperor is here at the bottom of the deck for you. So you know what's good for you in doing this. Or it could be a male figure in your life who you're moving away from.
Okay. 10 of Cups. In the 3rd house of Gemini. The sun is in Gemini right now. Media, communications, siblings. Okay. So what manifestation is going on? There could be a lot of things with the 10 of Cups. Yeah. On the positive note, the 10 of Cups could be like a full-on manifestation of your wish, your fulfillment of your wishes emotionally, you know, and that could be in relationship. If you're trying to get in touch with a sibling or something, do that. It could definitely be in relationship with love in general, like the full-on hands, contact, media, anything to do with like communications in that sense, right? Analyzing it. Or it could be, it could also be like, you know, just like you're fully at that place now with the 10 where it's just like, this is it. This is it. Whatever this situation is that you've been analyzing, you could literally be driving yourself to this place of like 10 cups, you know, because you have analyzed it to the umpteenth thousandth degree now, right? And like, so, you know, like all the lights, all the busyness, it's all mutable right now. Yeah, it could be, there could be like there seems like a lot of changes and like, you're not down with that as much with changes that may be coming. But they could be like really good changes. So you need to be flexible and go with the flow with it. You know, there could be a Gemini also that's like kind of like really affecting you a lot right now. Maybe gotten your emotions in a heightened place. That's possible too.
I feel like, you know, some of you might actually be moving in with someone. You may not be getting married, you know what I mean? But you might be moving in with someone and you're like expressing, you know, the reasons why you guys are moving in together to your family. It's like you're communicating because this is a 10, right? And it's like you're expressing all of these feelings of like joy and like, oh, but we know that it's going to be great. Or maybe you're moving to a new neighborhood and your family doesn't want you to move to that neighborhood because they know it's not going to be easy to see you like that anymore. But it's still like in the same town. Or some of you might be moving far away because it is Sagittarius, you know. Right. But you guys are ready to appreciate this newness, right? This completion of this phase that you've also been in for this, you know, a while, right? It's a 9. That's a very appreciative
This is
card.
Sun in Pisces right here.
Yeah.
So this Sun in Pisces energy could be also talking about like communications of emotions, right? Communications of emotions either with like lovers or with like siblings or with your intimate relationship somehow. Make sure that that's going on. It's like a spotlight on sharing you know, on really the analyzing and the conversing. Like Venus is in Cancer right now. So like in the home life, even in the evolution of self, right? It's like really examining these things and really looking at these things and know like we're all on board for whatever changes or whatever it is that we're actually trying to construct, because that is important for Taurus. You guys do rule, you know, that hierophant energy of establishment. So I think when you know that everybody's on the same page, you feel more secure and more balanced. It's like your form of balance, you know?
Right. Okay. Let's look at your fourth house.
Your fourth house, the mother house.
Cancer's house. Wow.
Home house.
Okay, you got the Daughter of Cups, which is the Page of Cups.
Okay.
Are you being loving? Are you being compassionate? Are you having conversations expressing love? This is a good position to have this card in, right? Because it is a watery energy. If I had to think of this being any sign, it would be Pisces, but it could be any water sign. You know, Jupiter is actually in Scorpio right now, which is your house of relationships. We'll see like what house that is for you, because that house is like squaring this one a little bit, because this would be Cancer, and then the next cardinal sign would be Libra, which is
there's almost like, you know, he asked the question, are you doing those things?
right.
And, you know, when you look at this card, it's a very beautiful card. You can see, you know, the reflection of the shadow underneath and like the rainbow, which is all the possibilities, all the colors that are like hidden underneath, right? So this is like very like, you know, a call for like, are you sharing? You're right. Are you expressing? And this is like with the whole life. So you could like not be fully sharing or expressing yourself with your family, or some type of restrictions with your family, or your mother. Or this could be something to do with yourself and your ability to express this love that you need. This like, right, because this is the fourth house. So this is definitely, this is Cancer. This is talking about self-evolution, and not, this is like not really verbal stuff. This is like non-verbal stuff. Right, what drives us underneath, you know, this is soul talking. This is the first house of the soul, really.
This is actually a really beautiful card, because it's like, there's a shyness to this card, because it's like everything that needs to be revealed or that has yet to be revealed is underneath the water. Or is it actually on the surface, right? It's both.
It's almost like a call for action in a sense, because it's like, you know, it could be, it's illusionary almost. It's inspirational and illusionary at the same time. There's a lot of possibility within this card, right? And it's in the place of your home life,
right? And it's a change card. So change of the home.
Right, your emotions. It's almost like there needs to be more sharing or lessons learned about like, you know, fairness in regards to, or maybe somebody's not acting mature. You know, it could be like that too. Somebody's not acting mature enough in the home life. You know, you could be dealing with a Pisces or a Cancer even. And, you know, there could be a lack of like maturity or just lessons that need to be learned there. You know, for both people. You know, especially if it has to do with like a situation that's like karmic, because Saturn is kind of dealing with the daughters here and pages. So it could be karmic. It could be like a family member and like, you know, that type of thing where you can't really escape it. It's like your heritage and you're being affected because of association, right? And you are a Taurus. So all of those types of things I have would be affecting you. You know, a Virgo could be affecting you in that type of way too.
Right. It's very interesting because I'm looking at these cards and I'm realizing what planets are in what signs for you right now. So I can look at a card, know that card, and also know like what planet is active in that house. So as I'm going around, there's really nothing in Sagittarius right now. I'm sorry. There's really nothing in Taurus right now except for Uranus, but that's where the Sagittarius card is. Okay, so that expansion, right? It's like that completion in the expansion, or almost reaching that expansion in a sense. And then you get to the house of what you have, which is for you, Gemini. Mercury's in Gemini right now. You're communicating on what you have, right? You're communicating about the things that you appreciate and the things that you like want to keep and the things that you like want to get rid of, right? Some of you are like maybe having like a yard sale or something, because this is like the time to sort of like share those things with people, and give things away, or just kind of like sell things at a lower price, yard sale type of stuff. And then we go into Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Your third house, which is communication. You're communicating, feelings and things. So the Ten of Cups, this is Cancer. And then you go into Leo, but really this is the fourth house ruled by Cancer. So it's like you expressing those feelings of the heart, you know what I mean, at home. And also really being considerate of the way that you feel, right? It's like, don't hide those feelings, right? Right. Don't hide them.
Erica, you did get, Erica, I saw that you went on the interview, right? And you're waiting to hear back, Erica Harper. Well, you did get the Emperor card. You guys did get the Emperor card at the end of at the bottom of the tarot, which we elaborated on first. So that is a very large possibility of a construction of something, right? Mm-hmm. And that yang energy, So there's definitely, and with what I have being here with Venus and Virgo, it's definitely something, especially if it has to do with like doing a craftsmanship thing on your own somehow, or just being able to work by yourself somehow. It could be a benefit to you for sure. Or even like with the Ten of Cups here, manifestations with media related things, news, anything to do with like paperwork and like analysis, and anything to do with the medical field would be very beneficial for you guys right now. You could go do your checkups, anything like that is a really great thing to go and look into right now, because that is third house with the communication. Right? So it could be a really good move for you. Let's go ahead and flip over your fifth card. Okay. Ten of Wands. So that's that. Okay, so that's the progression from the Nine of Wands. Now, this is interesting because traditionally the first house would be ruled by Aries. And the fifth house would be ruled by Leo. So they're both fire signs, and Wands are fire. And 9 is a progression to 10. So you see what's happening here? Like there's a progression going on here within your houses. So in your mind, you were giving Moon and Sagittarius. I'm feeling spirited. I'm like being affected. I might even be feeling offensive. I might even have to fight even more about some type of thing. And then 10 is like the awareness of it. The 10 of Wands is like, okay, now I'm feeling a little bit oppressed. What is the fifth house about traditionally? The fifth house is usually talking about your short love affairs, your sensual pleasures, your children, your dreams, your legacies, your heart stuff. It's like Leo. So it's like, going out there and making things happen, and just the awareness of just the catwalk of life, and like the life is a stage, and like also just like affairs, even like little like hot little like things that happen in that way. And with the Sun in Sagittarius is like the awareness of the endurance of something. Like I've been on this for like a while, or I've been doing this kind of thing, or we've been planning this thing, But maybe it's like also a lot of like there's a lot of squeezing going on to like make things happen.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it is. It is heavy.
Too much weight. It's almost like, right, look, the candle went out when I said that. Mm-hmm. It's almost like he knows where those candles are, honey.
We have the candle.
This reading is for Taurus. It's their June reading, Maya. And we're talking about, making changes and maybe moving to a different place. Some people are moving. Some people are appreciating their surroundings. Some people are moving in with a significant other.
Some people are dealing with a Sagittarius.
Right. Some people are dealing with a Sagittarius. There's a lot of mutable energy here in this reading. So, you know, things seem to be all over the place. So you guys are literally...
Or a Pisces.
Right, or Pisces. There's Pisces energy here. There's Virgo energy here. There's Sagittarius energy.
There's
here.
a lot of
That's all mutable. And the only cardinal energy you have right now actually is the Emperor, which is the foundation and the structure that you need. So that's what we're talking about, Maya. And in the 5th house, which Leo rules, right? That's about self-expression, like Dale was just saying. It's also about, you know, letting other people experience you in your best light, yes? And you might be feeling burdened by a few things that are going on, so it's like that's affecting you, and so people aren't really getting you in your most positive attributes or in the most wholesome way, you know, that you can be experienced. So I feel like some of you might be burdened by all the things you have going on because you're making all of these plans, yes, to either sell some things, get rid of some things. You're clearing out your house. You might be getting ready to move. Maybe you guys are getting furniture delivered. You know, there are just like things that are happening that are going to change, and there'll be consistent change.
It's like these little details could really be affecting you a lot right now, too. You know, that's kind of what I'm getting with this mix of Sagittarius and like Virgo energy, right? It's like the little details of things, because that's Virgo, little details that's like the progression of it, and like, what are we doing this for in the order of things, and let's make sure that we're actually moving forward and not going backward and learning from all these passionate things that we're going through, you know. But then Sagittarius starts to get to that place where it's like, I'm kind of feeling withered. It's either one of two things. It's like I'm feeling withered by this thing, or like I'm feeling really spirited and I gotta just I can't get off of it. I can't stop. I don't even know what stopping is.
Right.
Like, you know.
You know, it's like, I feel like, you know, you guys want this structure, and then it's almost like with that 9 of Pentacles being in your 2nd house, it's like you need a routine. You need a routine, right? Because that's going to make you feel more stable. It's going to make you feel like there's more structure in your life, where you're able to create opportunities to provide more structure in your life, right? That type of thing. Now let's go into your 6th house, right? Which Virgo rules. And you got the 6 of Cups.
Okay, so that's Sun in Scorpio.
Right.
In your day-to-day life, are you feeling like some type of deep emotion? There's like you could be feeling really nostalgic lately. That's definitely possible.
Right.
You could be thinking a lot about what you have or what you want, like in that way. Or like I said again, you could be definitely thinking about like a sibling or like a family member, even because the 10 of Cups here and the 6 of Cups there. It's like there could be a situation that's affecting you that doesn't have to do with you directly, but it affects you because it's like your heritage, the roots of everything that you come through and where you come from could be affecting you somehow, and what it is that you want to build and do on a day-to-day. Because Virgo is like really just kind of like day-to-day energy.
Right. It's that routine.
Right. And it's like Virgo like really wants to be able to see the evolution happening in things. And if it's not experiencing that, then it's going to be feeling emotionally restricted, and it's not going to like that. You know, and then Sun in Scorpio, though, Scorpio is about control emotionally sometimes. It can be a very positive card in the sense that it's about wanting to expand. You're like, yes, I know. Right. Wanting to expand in your emotions, because that is something that 6s are about expanding. You know, and it's kind of like Jupiter's the 6th planet. So if you think about it that way, it's like, you know, it's really about wanting to expand, like the idea of something, but this is emotional. So it's in both ways, right? It's growing up and it's growing down. So it's talking about the possibility of like hidden things. This could be hidden enemies in a day-to-day scope that you don't know about as well, because this is kind of like You know, people that can't necessarily, they might not, it is in Virgo energy, so it might be kind of harmless, but it could be fickle and it could be monetary in a sense. So it's like it could be people at work that affect you in an emotional way that isn't really all that deep, but it still affects you. That's just another reading for somebody out there. There is a lot of there's definitely a lot of accumulation going on. You guys got some high numbers here. 9 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. Then you have the daughter, and then another 10 of Wands. So there is a lot of you coming to definitely the ends of something, or that is going to bring about a new beginning.
Right. You know, when I get the 6 of Cups here, I think about nostalgia, right? I also think about kids. When I get it in the House of Virgo, I think about being very critical of your children, right? You might be being very critical of your children right now if you have children, or your children might be being very critical of you, okay, for whatever reason, you guys, right? It's like, also with this being in this position, it's like, are you going back to these nostalgic places and overanalyzing them too much? It's almost saying the past is the past, right? I mean, you do want to process those deep-rooted emotions and those deep-rooted feelings and all of those past experiences that have shaped you now. But it's like you process them in a positive way, right? That's what you are trying to do. Because we can go back and overanalyze something and be very critical of a situation or a circumstance that we went through. But then it's like we're not moving on from it. We're holding on tight, right? We will not let it go. Okay? And that's some story.
It's like something deeply rooted that affects you every day. This could be hinting at that. There could be the nostalgia of a loss, or just to want to be sharing something, or just even something to do with even your career, because Sagittarius is very career orientated, and you could be feeling somehow dissatisfied, and that's a scorn in the day-to-day. You could be feeling hopeful about what you want to build, but when you're in your present place, you're just not. It's just harder.
This could even be some of you guys' father too, because Father's Day is coming up. And Scorpio is like the King of Cups, or the Father of Cups. And that card actually flew out for you at the beginning of the shuffle. So this could talk about some people's father, right? This is Scorpio. This is in your house of relationships. Jupiter is retrograde in your house of relationships right now. What's going on with some of you and your father? Father's Day is coming up. Are some of you going to visit your father? Do some of you need to make that phone call? I feel like, that's something I'm telling myself, but I'm not a Taurus. Let's look in your house of relationships. Wait, is that it? Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's a Libra card in your house of relationships, which is for you, Scorpio. And I just talked about Scorpio. So some of you need to take a break from a relationship that you might have with a Scorpio. Okay? This is seeking spiritual guidance. This is allowing your mind to rest. I know I do it all the time. I am a Libra sun, Libra rising with Pluto in Libra. So I'm going to depths in my thoughts about things all the time. And, it's like sometimes you're worrying about things so much that you can't even do things like wash the dishes right. Or put your apartment in order. Those feelings when you feel like you're just so stressed out over stuff that you can't even get your space together. God. Seek some spiritual guidance. Take those times of silence that you need. Listen to some calming music. Listen to white noise. Color, adult coloring books. Some people think they're crazy, but I love them.
This card is Jupiter and Libra, so it's in your relationships, you could be expanding in some relationships right now. Just definitely your communication somehow, or understanding. It's a spiritual card.
Yes.
So if there's some dissatisfaction going on in any shape, way, or form with your relationship, or even with a Libra, because this is a Libra card, it's saying to look at the spiritual aspects of the relationship. Definitely go into that and don't look at just like what's right in front of you. There could be a need to just kind of find peace with like something from within, because this is a very much like Four of Wands. Four is the construction. It is Emperor, but this is like the softer version of the Emperor. This is like him going in the planning in the first place. Like, where's the inspiration coming from to do the things that we do, right? You know, it's all about relating when it comes to Libra. And expanding in the idea of relating in your relationships is where you're going to find the beauty that you're looking for. And let's face it, you're always looking for the beauty in things. Right? You're a Taurus, you know? So it's kind of like, you know, finding that balance. And this is like, you know, the 7th house, which is ruled by Libra, and you got Libra there, which is Venus as well, which is your ruler as well. So it's like the way that you do things, but this is more like about the aesthetic and not just about like looking at what you have. Once again, I think I had hinted at that before in the 2nd house even. It's like not just looking at what you have in a monetary sense, but really call for going within a little bit and looking at spiritually connecting why you have the things you have. Like even like with family and heritage, like, and like, you know, where are these people? Where are the Halls, or where are the, you know, Carters, or where are the Harrises? And we act like this because the Harrises have these things. And some of that stuff is kind of highlighted right now too.
There's
just
a lot
with
of
like
family.
Yeah, family and like, that's
what I'm getting.
An accumulation of something. I'm getting something to do with siblings too, or it could be children somehow being a, you know, somehow family members affecting you, you affecting family members somehow.
Right. This is a general reading, so we have to be able to like allow ourselves to open up and really reach everyone who might be watching this video. So, you know, some things may resonate
with that
some
Sun in
things
Taurus.
Right,
yeah,
exactly. But, you know, this is for someone. Shall we? All right, let's look at your 8th house. Wow. You got the Sun of Pentacles. That's the Knight of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy, mutable, earth mixed with fire. All knights are fire. In this case, all suns are fire. Okay? That's in your 8th house of shared resources.
Okay. So it's like you're not going to be fooled, you know, when it comes to these shared resources and stuff. Like, you know, with the changes, like you guys don't like to like, you know, you want to measure twice, cut once kind of thing. You know, you guys do fear changing and making things like up, you know, fast, like making things happen fast. You definitely want to plan it out. Like it's like consistent. Yeah, and then, you know, you're a field animal, so you want to see it from a distance. That's very much what this is talking about. There might be some type of intimidation with a reveal. Like you're like afraid to find out some news about something, and it could have to do with your construction. Like you want to construct something. It could be with a person. It could be with an establishment. It could be a dream that you have. And there's a little bit of intimidation around it because you want it to happen perfectly the way that you see it. And so there's like, you know, you could be definitely having your mind on that. And Pluto is very dense there in the 8th house as well. So there could be like a reveal of like, if, you know, it's very finite. It is or it isn't going to work. It is or it isn't going to be this job or that thing, or, you know, we are or we aren't moving here. Like it's that type of thing. And so it's like a perfected work in that sense. Yeah.
Right. You know, the Son of Pentacles is also, actually, you know what? I'm being called to like read the Son of Pentacles in this deck just so I can, you know, have that well done.
Yes, I'm building an empire, my empire, and it's a bit scary. Yes, Jade. So you're going to do it. Leo, Moon, and Rising here, Virgo, Sun.
We're going to hold, will you hold this card up while I read it? Okay, this is special for you guys. Son of Pentacles. Quiet and dedicated. We said consistent, right? The good side of the Son of Pentacles is that he's loyal and determined. He's inventive and can be trusted wholeheartedly. But sometimes this figure becomes stubborn and persistent to a fault. This, combined with his quiet nature, results in his being hard to get to know and socially awkward at times. He commonly has only one or two close friends rather than many. And this is in your 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio. So you are dealing with this sort of like loner feeling, actually. You know what I mean? And it also makes it seem like it's hard for you to like get friends too. Some of you, this is for like the younger Tauruses out there. The older Tauruses aren't going to be so concerned about how many friends they have.
Some of you are worried that you're going to make a change and you're going to have to meet new people. And maybe you're changing up something, maybe from a move or maybe from leaving a relationship or a commitment or a job. And the change is kind of, there could be fear and the anxiety of processing. Just starting over again, starting anew again, letting go. Once again, Virgo energy, letting go, Virgo energy, letting go of what you have because of the promotion or because of the new relationship or because of the construction of the new thing, you know. So it's kind of like the intimidations of that. You know, how fast it's going to come in, the planning behind it. You want it to be this perfected work, right? And there's some kind of like control that you might have to let go of in the day-to-day as far as how you allow it to affect you so that you can be efficient, you know?
Right. You know, it is the persistence that actually gets us things, right? And it's the time that we take within that persistence that also starts to peak the value in that experience that we're being so assertive with. So that's how you bring value into the things that you do, right? Your resources. Do you value them? And in your 9th house, talk about the 9th house a little bit, Dale, so they get a little bit of a feeling about what that is.
Okay, so with the 9th house, you know, you're getting into like Sagittarius energy. With the 9th house, it's talking about higher goals, higher learning, you know, like institutions where you go to school at, this type of thing, education, you know, it could talk about travel as well, like, you know, foreign studies, different things like this. And it's talking about justice here. So Venus, justice, Libra, relationships. Right. Some of you might, like I said, be moving because of a relationship. That's definitely possible,
right,
or some type of logistics there with the relationship and how it's affecting you in your studies. Divinity, higher learning, right?
This is a sharing card, right? How are you balancing things out in that sense of expansion? It's like, this is in the home of Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius is mutable. It's really hard for them to get balanced. You know what I mean? Because everything is always going all over the place. How are you being fair to yourself? How are you being fair to other people in your journey of expansion, right? It's like when we begin the come up, some people start to treat people differently. They become unfair with their emotions and with their communication, right? So for you, I would just suggest, watch how you exchange energy with people.
Are some of you being, I'm getting just like a lot of like Libra energy as well. So there could be like a Libra there. And there could be like some type of even like long distance. Only because I'm saying this, only because I'm seeing like the 9th house is also talking about kind of like long distance things too. Libra being there with justice and connection with that. A lot of Sagittarius energy as well. Sagittarius is the 9th house. So, there could be something to do with how you're relating with a Libra or with a relationship in your life, someone in your life, and it's affecting you. It could be a sibling, once again, or a sibling-like relationship, like you communicate like in a way where you're chill like that. Something about what's fair in your career as well. Some of you want justification in your careers. You feel like very withered in your mind. You put a lot of effort into certain things. And, you know, some of you are being affected in ways that are coming from outside of that, be it your partner or your children somehow affecting you. And you might be thinking like, wow, I've been running this race and doing this thing this way, and now I'm going to have to change it up somehow. Not really ready to change it up. What do I do? Right? Because it could be like the endurance in that way. And you could be thinking about what's fair as far as concerned. Like, how much do I focus on my needs and what I just want to do? And then what it is that my family or partner need as well. Like, how much of a sacrifice do I have to make in this?
Right. I feel like this reading is flowing pretty well with us, even though we have a lot of cards that like are challenging the energy. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many cards that are sort of like opposing each other, or not necessarily opposing, but there's like a lot of mutable energy here, right? But then you have some fixed energy and some cardinal. So you're getting a little bit of everything.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. That's what I mean. Yeah. Jade Made Love said, I'm trying to start a relationship that is long distance with a Pisces, a mutable sign. There you go. Sagittarius, long distance.
Well, there you go. The Pisces would be Sun in Pisces, which is 10 of Cups, and the third house would be communications, right?
Long distance relationship, Justice card in the 9th house.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, right?
Okay, so let's get into the 10th house and see what's going on.
What's going on in that midhaven for y'all? Mother of Pentacles.
Okay, Mother of Pentacles is giving you Queen of Pentacles. So it's in the 10th house, which is Capricorn, and this is Capricorn as well. So it's kind of like right at home with what it needs to be. So this is almost like the awareness of how your reputation and your heritage affects you and your duties to it. Like there's expression within those duties. Maybe you need to express yourself more about how you're feeling about these duties. Or some of you let these duties rule you. You know what I mean? Like you're like, okay, well, I got to do it like this because this is what it is. I'm this person. You know, there could be that going on. Or you're just really, like I said, again, bending to the relationship somehow. I could see you kind of having to compromise because you're constructing something. So it is learning a lot about compromise, you know. And then with the Mother of Pentacles there, she really supremely kind of knows intuition very well. And that way, as far as the duties of how to express something, make something grow, make something be productive, make a synthesis happen.
Right.
And with Capricorn, it's saying, I want to do it. I want to get it together. I want to have these friends and families and this, that, and the other. This is also in the Father house. So it could be in relationship to a parent. It's the Mother of Pentacles, but it's the Father house. You could have a mother that was both mother and father. And so maybe you want to do something for her during Father's Day during this time. That's fine. Or you could have a father who was both mother and father in that way. Or a father, you're thinking about your father figure even. In the reputation. You're thinking about the proof of things too. Because Pentacles are about like real facts, real truth. Real, what's real, not just ideas of things and what drives us to do it. Capricorn is like the emotions that drive us to do the things that we do, because the fishtail and the goat, it's like, yeah, I want all these things. Yeah, I want it. Yeah, I'm working hard for this stuff, but I'm working hard because it's been so hard. Because I did ... That's Capricorn energy, right? So it's kind of like the mother of that, Mother of Pentacles is like, you looking at these duties. You knowing why you are the person that you are and why you have the things that you have. This is a very mature spirited energy as well with the moon and Sagittarius here. So it's like you really you know why you have to plan to do these things, okay, and why you have to do the things that you have to do.
Maya Lou, email providencetarot@gmail.com and we'll get back to you. I just had an experience looking at this reading, and I love how it lays itself out, because the midheaven is where it should be, which is at the top of the reading, okay? Your midheaven is Capricorn. Saturn and Pluto are there retrograde right now in your 10th house, okay? Uranus is in your 1st house. So there's a squaring energy that's going to be happening at some point for you guys with those energies. Maybe it may almost get there, and it may not, just depending on how Uranus transits Taurus and how Pluto and Saturn start to go direct. So think about that. In your midheaven, you've got Saturn and Pluto. There is something big happening. I told you guys there was some change occurring for you. And this Uranus transiting your sign, it's early right now. So you're kind of like getting in there, kind of getting a little bit comfortable, or Uranus is getting in there and getting a little bit comfortable. And you were sensing that as it was approaching you from Aries, right? Because you already had Saturn and Pluto there. So by the time Uranus came in, right, you feel that energy. By the time Uranus came in, it was like, yeah, you're being challenged, and I really want you to start seeing things this way. For those of you who are literally trying to change your life, and you might be in the middle of your life, like maybe like 40, 50 years old, and you want to start a business or something, do that. If you're so concerned about what your family's doing all the time, you won't have time for you, right? You guys, look at what your 10th house is personally, and then think about what that cardinal earth energy is for you at your 10th house. It's that leadership position. It's like, what you do in the world, right? It's like what your destiny in the world is to be, okay? So think about that. Find out what your midheaven is. Look at that birth chart.
In the 11th house, you've got Pisces.
Again.
Okay. It's Jupiter in Pisces, I believe, which is the 9 of Cups. Yeah. So the expansion of these feelings. Also, what's the 11th house? Traditionally, it's kind of like, it's your friends. It's like social activities. It's like not you at home or you around the house. It's you over at the mall. It's like, it's you going to a concert. It's like this type of energy. So you could possibly meet a Pisces out somewhere and have a really good time with them, have some really memorable stuff. You could possibly meet your soulmate out at the mall or out somewhere at a social event somewhere. You could be the manifestation. Yeah, it could be something like a family reunion kind of thing, even with the Queen of Pentacles being there in the 10th house. Or you could just really get to a place where you feel like, yeah, a family reunion would be really positive for you during this period of time. Thinking about what you have and like your heritage, or like even reuniting with friends in a way, something to do with your friends, or like the 11th house. If you have a Pisces, that's a good friend that you feel like you relate to somehow. You guys could like really connect during this period of time, really have a really great time together. There might be a wish. Or you want to host something. You want to host something with your friends even, right? Because the 9 of Cups is really a lot about like a presentation of something. Look, and then in the 11th house, it's talking about like social events coming together. It's also kind of like similar to that midheaven energy where it's like your reputation, like people, what they read about you, what they see about you, kind of in that sense. Okay.
Yeah. The 11th house, which is ruled by Aquarius. I'm sure you probably said that. You got Pisces there. You got Jupiter in Pisces. So this is like being granted those wishes, right? Those things that you thought were far off and out and away from you. Uranus is letting you do that right now. You got a lot of 9s in this reading. That is Uranus, right? You guys go look at that Greek mythology and search that, right? And see what's going on with that energy and what that the legend of Uranus is, right? The myth of Uranus is. You might understand what this reading is trying to tell you a little bit more. But this is getting your wishes granted. But then it's also like, are those cups empty or are they full? What are you appreciating? What are you depreciating? Right? What has been depreciated? It's upright. So it's good, It's the moon. It's Pisces. It's feeling good. It's emotions. It's like, look at that. Look at the rippling of the water underneath the cups, right? It looks very cool. It feels good. Right? You see those ripples?
Some of you could be having like petty quarrels with your friends, or like just things that are not really like necessarily. This is like a different perspective, but things that are not necessarily like, yeah, like once again, there's like an accumulation of something, either with a sibling or with your friend, where, you know, the feelings are like not necessarily the most positive. Maybe somebody said something and you don't want to confront the situation, but you need to go ahead and resolve it. You can resolve it from going within. You know, you go within and you really deal with the situation, because it might be someone that you see on a day-to-day, and now, you know, you just don't really like, you just don't have that same passion for that person, because maybe there was a scorn that happened. They could have did something in their actions that affected you, or you feel disrespected somehow. You know, respect is such a huge thing for Taurus. You really want to be respected for who you really are. So if somebody tries to take that away from you or tamper with something that you feel like is yours, that can be really a huge offense for you.
Right.
Okay.
Let's look at that 12. Wow.
Okay, in the 12th house, you're going to have some new initiations coming in. You might even be fearing fearing the new impulses or the new things that are going to happen in that subconscious, the blind spot.
Right.
What you don't know,
something is going to occur.
Something's about to occur. Something's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen in July for you guys.
Right.
Because Jupiter is in Scorpio in retrograde now, and it's going to go direct in Cancer. And you guys just got Jupiter in Pisces in the 11th house with the friends. Something around the corner. And that's Aries kind of like energy. It's like that impulse, that spark. And it's coming from a place that
Jupiter's in
you
Scorpio,
can't really see. Yeah, Jupiter is in Scorpio, but this card is Jupiter in Pisces. And that's what I was referring to. The card before, that's conjunct in Aquarius. So this is Pisces right here. The 12th house is ruled by Pisces, which rules the subconscious. And there could be a spark in relationship with the Pisces, definitely. In relationship with a soulmate even, because the idea of the deepest desire of a Pisces is to find their soulmate. Some of you could go out, and definitely that could be possible during this month. You know, in Gemini with communication, you're out somewhere in a social event, and you actually really do connect and meet that person.
This is Aries for you too. This card is in the house of Aries, so it's like there's some energy driving something to be initiated.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and this has to do, once again, Aries is also construction. So it can be a male in your life, or you putting initiative towards a male in your life, even an older male in your life, or you could just be like building something finally that you really want to like see, you know, that's going to be established.
Right.
You know, that's really going to be established, you know, and it's going to be like maybe a new spiritedness, and it could be coming from an outside thing. So somebody could do something.
Right.
You know,
it's like, with it being the Ace of Wands and it being in the house of Aries, and, and it being like, you know, in your blind spot, it's like someone coming in and initiating something that gets you involved. It could even be having sex with someone that you didn't expect you were going to have sex with.
Or something like that. That's like feeling spirited. It could be something catty even, but something that's like got your mind. Because really that's making 10 right there. And then that's a full circle of this 10 of Wands energy. So I am getting like, it could be to do with a partner, and like whose partners who, or even like, you know what, if you're not in a relationship with somebody anymore and you're having sex with them, but you're not like locking it down, then you can't get mad about like what's going on with them.
No.
Like you can't. Like
you gotta go through that.
You know what I mean? Unless you guys have agreed to be like lock it down with each other and you don't belong to each other, then you don't belong to each other.
Right.
And you can't like guilt trip that person.
Right. Right. And they can't do that to you
either. And they
either.
can't do it to you either. It's like they can't like try to possess you on a day-to-day basis.
As long as you know what it is. Now, I'm dealing with something similar to that too. So it's kind of like, as long as you know what, you know, the boundaries are, or what, not even boundaries, as long as you know what the fuck is happening, you're good. You know what I mean? Because it's like, that other person might start to feel like, oh, you know, like, we are just kind of like sleeping together, or having sex or whatnot. And then you're like, they're going to start feeling some kind of way when you start seeing other people, or like you have opportunities to see other people, you know, that might make them a little bit defensive or offensive, or maybe a little bit distant. Anyway, that was just something. Let's look at the 13th card, you guys. I was going to say you didn't have any swords. And you got a sword, and the only card that was in reverse, 10 of Swords.
10 of Swords.
You're not letting something end.
It needs to just,
right? Something was already over.
Or something ends, and it doesn't end because you want it to. It like ends. It's just could be foul play from someone. Definitely, I'm. That's definitely for. I don't. It's like this is so general for all you Tauruses out there, so I didn't even want to say that. But it's definitely possible that like somebody freaking cheated, and just like really it was a surprise, and like, oh, you had to end it, throw them out, even this type of thing that you don't talk about. Like it's like, you know, that's for somebody. That's
I'm gonna read,
but
this.
Other people it's like letting go.
Here we go. 10 of Swords, ruin, rock bottom, melodrama. When the 10 of Swords appears, you've finally hit rock bottom. You've let others walk all over you while you play the victim. Is it possible that you love the backstabbing and drama too much to move forward without it? If not for drama, what would you focus on? It's time to find out. This is saying that you're not letting someone walk all over you, really. But it's almost not letting the drama end either. How are you going to let the...
You're like not being taken advantage of, but you're aware at the same time. So it's like abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter what kind of abuse it is. Okay.
This is about you being firm. And we don't really usually have to tell Taurus to be firm. Firm but gentle. Okay? The strength card didn't come up, but be firm and gentle. Right? You catch more flies with honey.
It's almost like you've been analyzing something. This is Sun in Gemini. Well, the Sun is in Gemini now. So this could be something that you're dealing with very, 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 very present. This is resonating for a lot of you. Or you're dealing with a Gemini. And you might not be able to trust that Gemini.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
You know, because you guys are different. And like Gemini is very scattered, not very dependable as like much as you are. Right. So, you know, I'm saying that right now, and it was like 11. It was like 11 likes, 11 followers. I'm seeing 11s.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's significant for somebody out there as far as you're dealing with the Gemini with something.
To get these swords up.
Or it's blocked and you need to communicate. There's some type of like communication of desire or frustration there.
This is not letting someone know it's over. This is letting someone
but the death has happened. It's like you maybe not even just facing something.
Right.
You know? Or it's like you, because you like fear of like even your emotions of like how much control you might lose control. You don't want to lose control. You don't want to be seen in a certain type of way. You don't want to lose respect.
Right. The spirit, I feel like
any of those things.
The spirit of the bond has died. And it's like you're trying to go back to that. You're analyzing it. You're trying to see it. Go back to that place here. But really, it's over.
Well, there's a surprise around the corner for a lot of you. This is like 12th house.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Blockage. You don't see it yet.
Some of you are like fearing this change, whatever change is possible. Well, there's change that's coming. you know. And some of you are, what you have is going back to this place of like perfecting yourself, right? What you have to do is focus on that, because there was a reveal, right? There could have been a reveal for some of you, and then there was the intimidation of that. Of why you so hard, all this Virgo energy, trying to be seen perfectly, trying to do it perfectly, and at the same time, you got to weigh out what you can do and what you can't do in this relationship. You can't have this person making you feel like you have to be perfect. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like you drive yourself crazy with that, trying to attain the physical idea of what perfection is. In an everyday sense, and feeling scorned by it, like that's just crazy. I'm just saying,
right?
You know.
So with the court cards that are here, it's saying like try to fix those relationships with your family members right now. If some of you have a little bit of a rift with fathers that you are in contact with and that you have healthy relationships with, just right now, it's like in a really shaky place. Try to get it together before Father's Day. Maybe Father's Day will be that time that you guys get it together. If you're moving in with someone and people don't really believe in that, or people don't really support it, well, that's what I'll say. I mean, it's your life.
Some of you are definitely going to be seen in this way. I mean, maybe it's something that you wanted. Like you've been wanting to lock it down as far as like the manifestation of wifey. In a reputable way, as far as your friends knowing that this is your guy, or like you're finally getting engaged, or like you guys are finally moving in together. A lot of that is happening for you guys with the 10th house being there. Your father's finally approving of something that you did in your life
this weekend,
or your dad's coming to visit. Okay, the father and like you being seen in this way that's like tangible. It's like tangible manifestations of the Queen's expressions. So tangible ways that you can express yourself to your friends and your family, and they can see you in these ways, and you can get on your soapbox and talk about what's interesting you right now.
Okay. Taurus, I think we're going to get going because we have more readings to do.
Yeah, we need to refresh our clients and stuff. But yeah, this was good.
Mm-hmm.
Taurus.
Don't forget, providencetarot@gmail.com is our email for you guys who want to get a private reading. Maya, email us. You can follow Dale on Instagram at Blue is True with 2 T's. I'm at NYC Kendrick. You're welcome, Erica. So we'll be getting back to you guys. Maybe we'll do a video of we'll be giving more content to you guys. It's like we may go through the planets in a series, and then we may go through the signs in a series. Something like that. To give you guys a little bit more information and to give you guys a little more insight on how we feel about planetary placements and just planets and signs in general. It's not about like tearing any signs down or beating them up or lifting one sign up more than another. It's about the balance of everything. And I'm a Libra, so I would say that.
Well, and also it's like really the more knowledgeable that you become about your own natal information, the more you'll realize the universe inside you and how these signs and these planets really do affect all of us in different ways, even having blind spots, having nothing in certain houses, and why you have certain signs that don't have anything in them. They're still affecting you, your rising, your perspectives. It's all really a part of you. You know what I mean? Like just because your sun is in Taurus, I mean, what else is in Taurus for you? Is your Venus in Taurus? Is your Saturn in Taurus? What's going on? Your Paley's in Taurus? What is your Juno in Taurus? Like all of these types of things really are pieces of you.
Yeah.
So it's like the sun, obviously that's where you're going to look first because that's just your awareness. That's the wake-up call. It's the flashlight. So we had a map and it was dark outside and we turned the flashlight on and we said here, that's where you're going to look first. That's where the focus is. Right. That's your sun, where the sun is. But all this other stuff on the map is still there.
Check your sun.
It's still happening. It's still there.
Check your sun, your moon, and rising, you guys. We're going to get going because this video is getting really long.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.